I love the dynamic of Ash and Gold, but why can't this be the full group for the series? Yo, what's up everyone? Treyman1 here, and there's no need to worry because we're back with another Pokémon Journeys anime review, guys. Today we are covering episode 75, the second part to the Darkrai Cresselia 2-part summer special. There's a lot to talk about in this episode, so let's go to get right into it and see if the build-up last week was executed properly. And please, everyone, after you see this video, make sure y'all head over to Taso's channel where you can see mine and his reaction to this episode. I hope you all enjoy. The link will be in the description and the cards. This episode wastes no time. Literally, we had like a little 30-second recap, then the opening, and then we kick back off with Dawn and Chloe finally meeting up with Cresselia. And I love that we are already getting some continuity with Dawn mentioning I met Cresselia before on the island, and we get to see a nice little flashback. There's a couple of flashbacks in this episode that I love so much, but we get to see Dawn and Chloe are making the assumption right now that Darkrai is the Pokemon that attacked Cresselia because of, Dawn's personal experiences with these two in the past, and also just because, Darkrai is a Pokemon that causes nightmares. This nightmare's going on right now. Cresselia is hurt, so it kind of all adds up. But Chloe does get close with both of these Pokemon. Right now with Cresselia, she gets to see Cresselia isn't really afraid of Darkrai, but she has more of a trust of Darkrai. So we really get to see Chloe has some potential with connecting with Pokemon at that legendary. So I'm really interested to see where this is going to go. Our next flashback happens with Dawn actually healing up Cresselia, where we get to see that she's actually learned some skills from Brock. That's right, we get to see a flashback of Brock and Dawn's Togekiss. And yo, this put a big smile on my face, seeing Brock in the Journey style. I did not expect to see Brock at all in this episode, considering that in other episodes, well, in the Iris episode, we did see Silent, but in the Kreen episode, we didn't get to see none of the X and Y gang. So, you can't really tell with Journeys. Sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they don't. I think recently, though, they've been doing a lot better with their continuity, and I'm loving this so much, especially with next episode actually mentioning Ash as the Alola region champion. Let's go. But the scene I really like the most is the impact that Dawn is having on Chloe. As we know, Chloe mentions how she doesn't know what she wants to do, how Eevee doesn't know what it wants to evolve into. And so she's kind of like enjoying Pokemon now and traveling with her Eevee. This is where Dawn mentions, your Pokemon doesn't have to evolve. She ends up flashbacking to the moment where Piplup didn't want to evolve. And she was like, at first I was kind of worried about it. I didn't think it was a good idea. But in the end, it all worked out. And, this is what the Pokemon wanted. And now her and Piplup are best buddies. So I really do love that they reference this moment. And this may be what helps Chloe realize that, Eevee doesn't need to evolve. She can stay Eevee. So I'm loving that Dawn has had an impact. I was hoping for that. They did have this big argument, and she is trying to loosen up Chloe as well. But this moment right here is going to be big in Chloe's development later on. And that's what I'm loving about the companions returning. And while they wait for Cresselia to heal, Dawn ends up changing into her performance outfit and showing Chloe a little performance. Now, this scene I can say is one thing that I was kind of iffy on in this episode, because we did get to see this in the preview, and I was thinking, oh snap, we're going to see Dawn's contest. As we know, they're on their way to go see this contest, and I think Dawn was supposed to perform in it as well, but we never get to see this contest. They do explain why we don't get to see it later on, which I can get, I can justify, but I just wish that we got to see Dawn perform in the actual contest. I did love seeing her perform here, seeing that people relearn Whirlpool. Tom actually mentioned on Twitter there's possibilities for more moves being relearned. Like some people say Volt Tackle. I doubt Volt Tackle will get relearned. But Seismic Toss, we have to wait and see. But I love seeing Dawn and her performance. This was a really nice new performance out for her. And then we get to see Chloe end up trying it out as well. A lot of people were worried here because they thought Chloe was going to try and do performances herself. But I don't think that's the case. I just think Eevee wanted to try it out here. Obviously, this isn't going to be her goal, but, she's exploring new things. So contests would be one of the things she would have to explore, and they end up failing in the end. The two end up falling asleep on Cresselia and actually end up witnessing one of Cresselia's dreams, and that's about Darkrai. As we get to see, Darkrai does give Pokemon Nightmare, but Cresselia comes and helps this Pokemon. This is where they get to learn Darkrai isn't the actual antagonist here, but it's only doing what it can do, and that's give nightmares. Ash and Go end up meeting with Darkrai as well, and following it to meet with Dawn and Chloe. Team Rocket also appear here, and for one, I gotta say, where the heck is Wobbuffet? Why isn't Wobbuffet here? It's so weird seeing Wobbuffet in this Pokeball, I guess. Wobbuffet has been shown to be like a main in the group now, so seeing that it's not out and about here was kind of weird. But I gotta say, Jesse and James were kind of a disappointment in this episode. I knew that they weren't gonna do much, but to be honest, they were a waste of time. For one, they don't even reference Dawn at all. They just focus on catching this Darkrai. And they used the gotcha. I thought more people was going to be the change, but that's not the case. So honestly, Team Rocket were pretty pointless in this episode. I gotta say, they wasted a lot of time on what we could have focused on with the actual fight with the Matori Matrix. Which before that, we had to get Ash and Dawn's reunion. And I gotta say, it was short but sweet. I do love that they got to see each other again. I wish they did the high five. Like, that's one thing that we were missing from this episode is the iconic high five. But hey, we at least got her iconic catchphrase. And at a time like this, it was kind of hectic. But it was kind of weird to me how the group just kind of all sat down and started talking while Darkrai's literally fighting against Team Rocket. I didn't really get that. I mean, Ash and Go didn't know, but yeah, that was just a little weird scene to me. Which, after that's said and done, the Matori Matrix finally show up and we get the most beautifully animated scene in Pokemon Journeys. Oh my gosh, if this was Masaki and Juan, he did his thing in this moment because these fight sequences were amazing. Cinderace, Chloe with the movements, everything, yo. I love seeing these scenes so much. And yes, it was short and sweet. I really wish it was longer. We got to see a bit more of Piplup. Piplup only got to show off 2 of his moves, which is Whirlpool and Bubble Mimi. I wanted to see what other moves it had as, it relearned Whirlpool. In Black and White, it had a whole new moveset. But still, seeing that these Pokemon got to go in for just a little bit, it was still really good to see. And in the end, when Darkrai finally shows up after defeating Team Rocket, it kind of steals the show. Obviously, it goes through a little bit. And Cresselia ends up helping Darkrai out, and Darkrai with Cresselia as well. Like, this is the moment that was the most important. Is that these Pokemon, they aren't rivals, but they're there to help each other. Cresselia is keeping Darkrai company because Darkrai is alone because it gives nightmares. So, to be honest, I think this was a pretty nice learning moment. It's very different from Diamond and Pearl's Darkrai and Cresselia arc. And I gotta say, it was all in all a pretty great conclusion. The final scenes of this episode really gave off a Your Lie in April opening type of vibe, in my opinion. Seeing the group playing in the beach, Chloe ends up talking to her father, and apparently the eggs that they were watching were obviously Piplups. Now, we won't see these Piplups again. It's Pokemon Journeys, guys. This is a one-time thing. It would be nice to see if Go and Chloe actually catch one for themselves, but I doubt that. Maybe Go, but we'll have to wait to see. But I really did love this scene, and the animation was beautiful. It was a nice, fun, chill summer moment. And yes, they did have to go to the contest, but they're like, it's summertime, we can go later. Let's just enjoy the moment. And we get to see this final shot of all 4 of these characters together. And the way this episode ends makes you feel like Dawn's going to be staying for a while. I actually wanted Dawn to stay, yo, because I love this. Like, just seeing these 4 together. Dawn fits so perfectly in this group. And I got to say, though, my one issue is the contest part. Yeah, it was nice to see her perform for Chloe in that one moment. But one thing I want from these character returns is to see their growth. We got to see Iris came back as a champion. Gary came back and showed that he was the man in battles, man. I just really wish that we got to see Dawn do her thing in contests. If we got one more episode, I know Journeys isn't focused on Diamond and Pearl right now because we aren't really that close to the remakes. But if we got one more episode showing Dawn in the contest, I know it wouldn't have related too much to the arc, but it would have been like a nice conclusion type of episode to Dawn's character for now until we see her later. But man, that's the only thing they were missing. Other than that, though, it was pretty sweet. My overall rating for this episode is a solid 8 out of 10. I gotta say, I did give the first part a 10 out of 10 for how well it was built up. But I gotta say, the execution, while it wasn't perfect, it was still a very great finale. Much better than the Darkest Day finale, in my opinion. I just really wish it wasn't too rushed and that we got to see more of Dawn, maybe the contest. That's the thing. This episode is good for Darkrai and Cresselia part. But the Dawn stuff, I love the reunion. I loved her characterization. I love how she helps Chloe. But for her character growth, it didn't really do much on her end, which, who knows, we may see her again in the future, and that's when we'll finally get to see that contest. Maybe with May and Serena. But yeah, everyone, in the comment section down below, let me know what you all thought of this episode. I'd love to hear. Thank you all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. TreyMan1, peace out.